Hey guys, it's Sasha. There have been a lot of news coming out of Trading 212 over the past couple of days, and most of this news has been really good, except for two really major problems that I'm going to get to in just a second. Trading 212 have done another huge update on the terms and conditions just this morning, which is why I'm making this video, and I will tell you exactly what has changed. They've also secured funding, opened up new account registrations in Europe a few hours ago, and it looks like they may be opening up to new accounts in the UK very soon as well. But first, let's get started with the most important bit, the new terms and conditions. Now, Trading 212 have updated their T's and C's quite a few times in the last few months. The last two times there were major updates, I made videos, and unfortunately those videos were not very kind. They weren't very positive because some of the changes were really quite bad. And when I read the updates this morning, I was really surprised. Trading 212 seemed to have gone and fixed a whole load of issues that I pointed out in those videos. Wow. Now I know that they have far better things to do than watch YouTube, so this is a complete coincidence, right? Well, I am very happy that they've gone and fixed those issues. So before we get to the bad stuff, here are the good changes. In March, Trading 212 introduced clause 10.19, which stated that Trading 212 may reasonably, at its sole reasonable discretion, introduce or amend the minimum or maximum size of any order in any investment. And this was very concerning. Here is what I said about it at the time. Does this clause in this wording mean that at its sole reasonable discretion, as it puts it, Trading 212 can amend the minimum and maximum size of any order after an order is placed? Now today, Trading 212 have updated clause 10.8 in the same section. It used to say, once accepted by us, your order cannot be amended or cancelled by you, etc, etc. And the problem was that together with that new clause, it meant that in theory, Trading 212 could change or amend any order they feel like because they feel like it. Only you couldn't change or cancel the order. Now that same clause says, once accepted by us, an order or pending order cannot be amended. This is a small change but has very big implications. Now they are saying that they can't just go and change your order just as well as you. They do further down say we reserve the right to amend or cancel your order or pending order due to market circumstances, but this makes far more sense. Let's say the stock you're trading is halted on the stock market, or a whole stock market is halted because there's a crash, or whatever other reason. There are circumstances. In those cases, maybe your orders won't go through. So they fixed that one. Right, thumbs up. I also highlighted in March that the clause 10.1 had an issue. We may, in our reasonable discretion, refuse to accept any order or instruction from you, or we may accept your order subject to certain conditions, or we may, acting reasonably, refuse to proceed with an order that we have accepted. This didn't sound good. It sounded like Trading 212 was saying that they can refuse to execute your orders just if they felt like it. And this new change to clause 10.8 that I just mentioned also addresses that issue as well. It says that Trading 212 can't go and edit or cancel your order unless there are exceptional market-based circumstances. Double thumbs up. Great. They have also clarified a number of other sections, which makes them better. The section about collateral when your shares are lent out is more clear. I like that a lot. And they've provided a lot of extra sections explaining the withdrawal process on your cash. I actually really like this section now. It gives you protection from somebody hacking into your account and withdrawing your money to their own account. This is a good thing. This is good. It is good that they are taking these precautionary steps. Section 5.14 has another very good subtle word change. It used to say, we reserve the right to place a sell-only limitation in the following cases, but not limited to. And this has changed to, we reserve the right to immediately place a sell-only limitation in the following cases. This is important again. It means that it is limited to the reasons provided. And Trading 212 can't just place a sell-only restriction in your account for no reason, which the previous terms kind of let them do. Now, aside from fixing a few typos, there's only one other change in these T's and C's that I think is material, and this is the bad one. There is one other bad thing that I'm going to cover in just a second, but let's look at this one first. The clause that we're talking about is 13.10. This clause has not changed much, but the changes Trading 212 have made are really important. Listen up. This clause says that your investments may be held with a custodian, and it used to say, we may decide that it is in your best interest for your investments held with us to be registered or recorded in our name or in the name of the person who is a custodian for the purposes of FCA rules. And if it is not feasible for us to do this, then blah, blah, blah. Now it says it may not be possible to register your investments in your name, in the name of the nominee, or other relevant third party, and where we have determined that it is in your best interests, or it is not feasible to do otherwise, your investments may be registered or recorded in our name, or in the name name of the person who is the custodian insofar as is permitted by the applicable FCA rules. This is a huge change. It previously said that they may hold your shares with the custodian if they think it is in your best interest. Now they say that if they decide that they can't for whatever reason register the shares in your name, then your shares will be held by the custodian in Trading 212's name or in the name of the custodian. And those shares that you buy on the platform with your money, the shares that are supposedly owned by you and held by Trading 212 on your behalf and should be protected by FSCS for up to £85,000 are, let me quote, A, your investments may not be segregated and separately identifiable from the investments of the firm or custodian in whose name your investments are registered. And B, as a consequence, in the event of failure, your investments may not be as well protected from claims made on behalf of our general creditors. You should note that when we arrange for a third party to hold your investments overseas, there may be different settlement, legal and regulatory requirements than those applied in the UK. Now, this is incredibly worrying. They are saying that if Trading 212 or the custodian run into any kind of trouble and fail, then your investments, your assets, your shares that you hold with them may be sold and paid out to creditors before you are able to get them. People Trading 212 owes money to, or people the custodian owes money to, may be able to get your shares before you. So in that case, you won't be able to get your investments back, but some random people that Trading 212 or the custodian owe money to will be able to get it instead. Now, I am no lawyer, but that sounds incredibly at odds with FCA's requirements and FSCS protection. Regulated companies like Trading 212 have a legal obligation to hold customer funds and assets in a fully segregated manner, so that if the company fails, those assets are not part of the company's assets. Those companies are not part of any company's assets, precisely so that your shares cannot be sold to pay out creditors, so that your money cannot be paid out to creditors because it is yours and they're holding it on your behalf. So here in Trading 212's new terms and conditions, they are saying the opposite, literally. The exact quote is, as a consequence, in the event of a failure, your investments may not be as well protected from claims made on behalf of our general creditors. And I hope that Trading 212 come out and clarify this point or fix this, because this is extremely important. As someone who holds most of their investments with Trading 212, me, this is a massive concern. Now, recently, Trading 212 have actually injected a load of cash into the business. The two founders have just put in £13.75 million into the company, and that's on top of £6 million that they put into the company just 2 months ago in June. So over the last few weeks, they've put in about £20 million into the business compared to just £4.8 million before then. So that should give you some reassurance, and hopefully that means that the risk of Trading 212 going under is significantly reduced, and that should be better given what I just said. They have cash to support themselves to keep on going for quite a long while based on their current expenditure. Also, Trading 212 have just reopened to customers from the EU, and I am guessing that after releasing these new terms and conditions, they may also be reopening to UK customers very soon as well, because that would make sense. And that may mean that those extra customers will flow extra cash into the company, so they'll be making some profits because those customers are going to be making deposits, buying shares, and hopefully that will mean that the company is not going to go under. But here is the second big problem that I have. When Trading 212 closed applications for new accounts in January, they said that it was for technical reasons. They said that they were improving their software. They needed to scale because there were so many customers, and that required some time for them to go and increase their capacity. And that didn't sound very probable at all, especially as I've worked with tech and financial services products in the past. It didn't really sound like that was the whole story. I actually asked the question in a video straight after they did it. Here's the thing. So if they had all these people join and they had to go and put up several million pounds immediately at the point when they're joining, is this pointing to a potential cash flow problem? And I got a very strong rebuttal from Trading 212 themselves. I got contacted by Trading 212, and on their public forum, they posted a response which said, there are no cash flow or liquidity issues or concerns whatsoever. And yet here we are. We have waited for over 6 months with no new accounts being able to register, with no updates from Trading 212 as to what's going on. And in the last few weeks, they have deposited £20 million into Trading 212's bank account. It could be the case, maybe, that it took them some time to privately raise that £20 million before depositing it in, maybe about 6 months of time. And at the end of 2019, which is the latest accounts that they did have £5 million apparently in the bank account. And according to those same accounts, the company has been profitable, and that's what they've been saying all along. But interestingly enough, almost exactly as soon as they deposited that money into Trading 212, they started processing European account backlog, and then they opened European accounts, and now a few days later, they're publishing these new UK terms and conditions and maybe reopening to UK customers as well. It's funny timing that, right? It's a bit of a coincidence. So is it a huge coincidence? Or did Trading 212 need cash? Was there a cash flow problem? Well, I don't know. But I'm not sure how I feel about these developments. I'm not sure how I feel about the way that this is looking. I do not like the fact that their terms and conditions are telling me that my shares on Trading 212 may be sold off to clear Trading 212's debt or the debt of a custodian that I have no idea who it is. I don't like that they publicly dismiss valid questions, and yet 6 months later it looks like those questions were maybe more valid than Trading 212 would like to admit. I still have most of my investments with Trading 212, including in ISAs at the moment, but I am very seriously considering alternatives. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you found this useful, and as always, I'll see you guys later.